Roughly 70,000 Armenians reside in Syria, more exactly used to reside, before the start of the war. They lived an orderly life, united around the Armenian Church and Armenian educational institutions. The Armenians living in modern Syria are primarily the descendants of the survivors of the Armenian genocide of 1915, who left everything behind and settled in the hospitable land of Syria. They have established themselves as law-abiding citizens of the country with admirable reputations. When the war broke out in March of 2011, it also shattered the normal lives of Armenians living in Syria. The gunfire and explosions eventually made their way to the Armenian districts as well. Armenians lost their lives. Armenian churches were damaged. Responding to the early call of the Catholicos of all Armenians, donations were collected by Armenian dioceses worldwide. However, the situation continued to worsen. In the summer of 2012, the flow of Syrian Armenians to Armenia began. Dozens of families were arriving every day who had emergency lodging and food needs. Many of them required medical attention and counseling. Apart from the government institutions, the displaced Syrian Armenians were also extended a hand of assistance by international organizations and non-governmental organizations. The Dekermenjan family is trying hard to adapt to unusual housing conditions and also to the cold weather of Armenia. The couple is here with their 2 children and their nephew, the son of Robert Dekermenjan. The State Migration Services of Armenia has provided them with a room in a dormitory. Watching TV reports, they follow the ongoing events in Syria and the threats to the peaceful population. They still have relatives there. Our house was in Suleiman. We had a large 5-room apartment. We left everything behind and came, every single thing. We came to stay for just 1 month. We only had our summer clothes. We were not prepared to spend winter here. My husband is a steel worker. He is an expert. And he is taking it very hard not to be working here. For someone who is working, then to come here and not to work, it's very hard for him. Back in March of 2012, Armenia hosted the General Secretary of ACT Alliance, an ecumenical charitable organization. He visited Armenia upon the invitation of Dr. Gaden Nazarian, Executive Director of the Armenian Roundtable Charitable Foundation of the World Council of Churches. Visiting the spiritual center of Armenia, the Mother See of Holy Echmiadzin, he met with His Holiness Karakin II, Catholicos of all Armenians, where in addition to other issues, they discussed the current situation of the Armenian population, who are leaving Syria without any means of support. In November, we saw a large number of refugees arriving in Armenia, and we applied to ACT Alliance, which has a rapid response fund for emergencies. They promptly responded to our appeal. As a result of the ongoing conflict and violence, approximately 7,000 Syrian Armenians have found shelter in Armenia, over 90% in Yerevan. Most of them needed housing, food, essential supplies, education, and employment. In response to their needs, the Armenian Roundtable Charitable Foundation initiated the Rapid Response Program to aid Syrian Armenians. ACT Alliance provided financial support. To carry out the program, the Roundtable Foundation of Armenia applied for assistance from the Ararachian Pontifical Diocese of the Armenian Apostolic Church. With the blessings of the Vicar of the Diocese, Archbishop Navasart Kachoyan, Reverend Father Grigor Grigorian was appointed as the officer for the Rapid Response Project. The first initiative was to involve volunteers, including Syrian Armenians, and we launched the work. Our main task was to provide food and essential supplies to the most needy families. For the rapid response team, it was very important to find a dignified manner in which to effectively deliver the aid being provided, to prevent any undue psychological or emotional stress. There was an office set up in the diocesan headquarters. Over 200 families were issued plastic shopping cards, each containing credit of 80,000 dirhams. The Yerevan City network of supermarkets collaborated on the project, printing the cards free of charge in addition to providing financial support. The reason for selecting Alex Grieg, Yerevan City, to work with was that it was one of the companies who first stepped forward to support our project, not only just for buying goods from their supermarkets, but because they eagerly committed to helping and making a monetary contribution to the project. The opportunity to obtain essential supplies through the shopping cards was well received. This was a decision that was considered useful both by those who initiated the program as well as by the people receiving the aid. It was, of course, better to have cards. They might give every family God knows what valuable things, but I need to spend for my daily essentials, like buying sugar, rice or bulgur, vegetable and other oil, such things. It's much better to have it this way with the cards. At least one can buy what he or she actually needs. To me, this is much better. In my opinion, this was a very optimal approach. We did not in any way harm their dignity. Because they have received the cards, they are using the network of supermarkets which are being used by the general population of Yerevan. Distributing the cards is the best way, so that a family can go and buy not only food, but also perhaps cleaning products, or any other types of essentials they need, except for cigarettes and alcohol. I should say that such an approach to the implementation of a charity program is a rather innovative one, and it received quite a bit of positive feedback from many foreign organizations. This approach has been given a high evaluation, and it is likely to be implemented in other countries too. When selecting volunteers for the program, Father Grigor noticed the name of Deacon Rafi Gyumjan in the list provided by the Ministry of Diaspora. Deacon Rafi had been serving in the Holy Mother of God Church in Aleppo. He also experienced the war and readily accompanied Father Grigor to support and assist his own compatriots. For families from Syria, a clergyman has a different significance. He is viewed as an elder of the house. When a priest enters a home, he is considered the head of the house. Our people have that understanding. When we went to visit a house with the priest, it was as if a whole new spirit came upon them. It was because of the priest visiting their home, whether offering prayers or moral support, that they received encouragement. People, and especially Syrian Armenians, who were very much attached to their community, gladly welcomed and were immediately pleased to see a priest by their side, knowing that the church was beside them. It doesn't even matter what we had to offer them. Regardless of what it was, whether food or essential supplies, it was important for them to have a priest next to them, and they felt that the church was supporting them. During the implementation of the Rapid Response Program to aid Syrian Armenians, it became clear that the number of families needing support was more than estimated. Every day, new people visited the office and left their contact information with the hope of being included in the list for assistance. The number of people who have applied has now reached over 1,100. However, this is not the final figure because it increases daily. There are more people coming from Syria. It is a bit difficult for us to speak to all of them and say that they have to wait. We simply try to lead them spiritually, God first, and then we'll see. They have just arrived in Armenia. They don't know much yet. Almost no one has employment. They aren't able to get established. For these reasons, we need to apply to our partner organizations and alliances. We'll see how we can respond to these serious requests and needs, as the worst thing to do is to disappoint the refugees. I am very concerned about this situation, and will do our best to keep the project going. It was very good. We love it, especially for the New Year holidays. More food for the children, or whatever was required for the household needs. We could afford to buy a Christmas tree, which made the children very happy. These cards were convenient for us, for buying food for the New Year, etc. It's so good. We are very thankful for all these things. Thank you. May they be rewarded. If they are able to somehow assist these 1,000 families, whoever gives a cup of water to drink shall not lose his reward. In the families of Armenians arriving from Syria, they pray every day for Syria to regain peace and for no further deaths of innocent victims. Their relatives, friends, and loved ones are still there, continuing to survive in the dangerous war conditions.
Amen.